Hello guys, and welcome back to Most Coasters. Today I've got 6 tips for visiting Six Flags Great America. Let's get straight to it. So I made a very similar video in 2022, and it's been getting a lot of views recently. However, I think there's some inaccurate tips and some things that have changed since I made that video, so I figured I'd make an update. Tip number 1 is pick a good day to visit. I recommend a weekday, Monday through Thursday, and I recommend looking at the weather ahead of time. If it's really rainy or really hot, I recommend packing accordingly. I've had a lot of great days where it's been really rainy or had a lot of weather, so I don't know if that's necessarily an issue. However, I think it's important to look at the weather ahead of time, consider picking another day, and make sure you pack accordingly, just so you can stay safe. If it's really rainy, I recommend bringing an umbrella, and if it's really sunny, I recommend packing sunscreen. Tip number 2, I recommend arriving by opening and staying till close. I think arriving early and staying late helps you make the most out of your day. That's when the least lines are, right in the morning and then right at the end of the day. So that's when you can get the most rides in. So I recommend, if you want to get the most out of your visit, then I would recommend staying all the way to the end of the day, and I recommend getting there right at the beginning of the day, because again, there'll be the least lines at those times. Tip number 3, I recommend using the app. The Six Flags app has tickets on there. You can actually purchase food, and it'll be faster if you purchase it on there. There's a map that sometimes has wait times. So all of those tools are really important for a day at a theme park and really help make the most out of that day. So I recommend downloading the Six Flags app and using it during your visit. Tip number 4, I recommend choosing your rides wisely. What I mean by this is starting with rides that have a long line throughout the day. The 2 that I would recommend are either Maxx Force or Goliath. Both of those have really consistently long lines throughout the day. They don't have very good capacities, and the lines move pretty slow. So I recommend if you hit those right at the beginning of the day or right at the end of the day, you can get on those rides a lot faster. I would hit rides like Viper, Flash Vertical Velocity, Demon, or Batman in the middle of the day. Those rides have pretty consistently short lines, and even though there will be a line in the middle of the day, you can get on those rides a lot faster, and that'll save time. If you are trying to get on all the coasters at Six Flags Great America, I highly recommend this. Go on some of those rides that are less popular right in the middle of the day, because that'll actually save you time. Tip number 5 is prioritize your favorite rides. The truth is that you will wait throughout your day. And if you go on a really busy day, you may not be able to do every single attraction you want to. So especially when it's busy, I'd recommend prioritizing what rides you want and doing those rides. So even though you may want to try to search for a shorter line or just kind of walk around in circles, I recommend you pick whatever ride you want to do the most and do it. Because the truth is, you will wait. It is a theme park. There are lines. And while some rides have longer lines, some rides have shorter lines, if there's your favorite attraction has a long line, I recommend doing it, because you never know what might happen, and it would suck if you didn't get to experience that ride. Finally, tip number 6, I recommend packing a lunch or sharing a meal plan, because the costs of food at Six Flags have gotten absurd. A single pretzel when we visited was almost $15 because we wanted cheese, because a pretzel without cheese is kind of weird. And if you buy a lot of food items, they can range anywhere from $17 to even $25, and I'm not kidding. That's for a single meal, not including a drink. Drinks are generally $7, $7, $8, even $9, and even just a bottle from a Coke machine is $5 at least. So the prices here are absurd when it comes to food and drinks. So I would recommend packing a lunch. Buying one meal at the park maybe isn't horrible, or you can always buy a meal after you leave somewhere near there. There's plenty of good options. But I recommend packing a lunch, leaving the park, and re-entering, because that'll save so much money, especially if you're with a larger group or a family. It can cost a ton of money for food, and I recommend you save that money because it's not necessarily worth it in all cases. If you're looking for good food options around the park, County Fair Food Court has a number of options from pizza to burgers to tacos to Asian cuisine. There's a number of options there. There's also a great new Windy City grill that was just built this last season that has really good food. I tried it this last visit. So those locations are really good for food. Often people ask where to look for merch. There's a number of options right at the front of the park in Carousel Plaza with Victory Lane near the Maxx Force exit. That has a number of roller coaster t-shirts and Maxx Force merch. There's also Flags right by the entrance, which has a lot of other t-shirts and merch. So yeah, that's the best spot to buy merch, best spot to eat food. And if you have any other questions about the park or any other things that you're wondering before you visit, put it in the comments below. I or anybody else watching will be happy to answer your questions. That's going to be all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.